It's the first and oldest black church in Amarillo and served as a catalyst for positive change in an era of harsh racial and social tension in the area. The church had to be rebuilt multiple times after being burned down by the Ku Klux Klan in the early 1900s. But that all changed when it was incorporated in 1917. I was able to find out more on Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church and how it served as a light in dark times as we honor Black history here on the High Plains. It's one of the oldest black churches in Amarillo.
Mount Zion originally was erected a little structure at 2nd and Jackson.
And was a centerpiece of the black experience in the city at some of the most crucial times in the area and the nation.
The black church was the assembly of everything that went on in the community, from the cradle to the grave, because it took care of everything. Not only the nursery for early childhood, but for actually educating our children, because we wasn't able to go to any official schools within the districts. So the church was very mindful of that, and also it was very an advocate for civil rights.
Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church originally started in 1910 and was incorporated in 1916. Many of the earliest members of the church actually had service and Bible study at some members' homes. The church had to be rebuilt a few times because some of its previous locations were burned down by the KKK.
They didn't want any kind of structure in the black community. They didn't want any kind of progress made by the black community.
Stewart tells me at the incorporation in 1917, some area white members from First Baptist Church were on the board and helped establish the church. And that's when the burning stopped. The church finally found its permanent home at 118 South Van Buren.
And it started out in the basement. As you walk through that door on the south side, on the south side, it leads right to the basement. In fact, it still has a lot of the hopscotch. The original flooring is still there.
For many in the community, Mount Zion was more than just a church.
The church actually played a role in all aspects of life in the black community, because whether our needs were medical, whether our needs were educational, or whatever, it was taken care of in the church because that was the gathering place.
With the increase in services from the church, it increased productivity in the black community and all of Amarillo. For many on the north side of the city, it served as a source of protection.
A lot of harassment from the Klan, and it was Jerry Calloway who was the first African-American in Amarillo, actually, that was helping to escort them from Polk Street to their homes and saw them get there safely. And he was a man with a whip. He carried a whip and to protect those ladies.
Considering both Stewart and Vaughn's long record of community service and representation, it's almost come full circle.
Being at the table in the way of Iris Lawrence's services as a commissioner, Alfonso Vaughn's services as a commissioner, to get our streets paved and to make sure that the funding that was for all of Amarillo would truly be for North Heights as well as all of Amarillo.
Obtain the right to vote so that we can maintain our own communities. It was by no accident that African Americans were targeted position, if you would, toward the Flats and the Heights.
And more than 100 years later, Mount Zion Missionary Baptist Church is still serving as a catalyst of positive change in the city. Vaughn and Stewart tell us Willetta Jackson, Marvell White, Charles Warford, Helen Neal, and Pearline Martin are just a few of the many names and figures who were instrumental in the formation of Mount Zion Church and the foundation of North Amarillo as a whole. For more Black history stories on the High Plains, head to myhighplains.com.